The old iron gates of Marlington Boarding Academy creaked open, revealing a sprawling stone campus surrounded by woods and silence. A bus rolled up the long gravel drive, kicking up dust as it came to a halt near the circular entryway. Inside, nervous chatter filled the air, punctuated by the hum of the engine and the occasional bump in the road. Among the dozen young women on board, 19-year-old Elise sat closest to the window, staring out with anxious eyes. Her long, slightly reddish-brown hair, thick, wavy, and kissed by sunlit coppery highlights, framed her face like a waterfall of warmth. She had always been proud of her hair, a unique shade that shimmered gold in certain light and curled naturally at the ends. It was her comfort, her shield, and it helped her stand out just enough without being loud. She ran her fingers through it unconsciously, twisting a lock around her index finger, trying to calm her rising nerves. Boarding school wasn't what she wanted, but her parents insisted. Structure, they called it. Discipline, community. But to Elise, it felt like exile. She had read about Marlington, a place where young women were shaped into excellence. The brochures showed ivy-covered walls and neat uniforms, smiling girls in books and blazers. But something about it always felt off. The smiles too stiff, the eyes hollow. As the bus doors wheezed open, the women slowly filed out, carrying duffel bags and wheeled suitcases. The matronly woman who greeted them introduced herself only as Mrs. Carver. She wore a starched blouse, a stern bun, and a thick wool skirt that looked older than the building behind her. "You'll be shown to your dormitory now. Dinner is at 5. Orientation begins promptly at 6. We expect punctuality." Elise followed 2 other girls, Tamara and Lila, into the dormitory wing. Their room was on the 2nd floor. 4 beds, 4 trunks, bare white walls. No posters, no mirrors. Just a single small shared bathroom with no personal storage. Elise sat on the edge of her assigned bed and looked over at Tamara, a confident-looking girl with tightly coiled black hair pulled into a sleek bun. "Does it feel weird to you?" Elise asked. Tamara gave her a knowing look. "Yeah, real weird. Like, they're trying too hard to make everything feel normal." It didn't take long for the strangeness to settle in. Over the next few days, Elise noticed more and more of the other students walking around with very short hair. Pixie cuts, buzz cuts. Some had shaved heads. All of them wore the same expression. Blank, quietly resigned. Elise's stomach twisted each time she passed one of them in the hallway. Then came the announcement. It was the 5th morning. They were herded into the assembly hall. Mrs. Carver stood at the front with her hands behind her back. A projector hummed to life, showing brief slides of women with uniform haircuts. "As part of our orientation and commitment to uniformity, hygiene, and personal renewal," she said, "all incoming students will report to the grooming center by end of day tomorrow. Your hair will be cut and prepared accordingly." Elise blinked. "What?" "You will be assigned a time. Attendance is mandatory. You may not opt out." The room filled with murmurs. Lila's face turned pale. Tamara leaned forward. "Did she just say, shave?" No one said it outright, but it became quickly obvious. The next morning, girls began vanishing one by one. Then they came back, shorn. Some with tears in their eyes, some stone-faced. Some didn't return to class for hours. Elise's heart began pounding before her name was even called. Then it came. "Elise Marin," said the sharp voice outside the classroom door. "Grooming center, now." The walk to the center was silent. A cold hallway. The faint whirring of clippers behind closed doors. Her escort didn't speak, only nodded when they arrived. Inside was an old salon, relics of a past time. Mirrors lined the walls. The floor was black tile. At the center was one worn, cracked black leather barber chair under a strip of fluorescent light. A large plastic container of capes and gloves stood to the side, next to sterilized scissors and electric clippers. And the hair, on the floor, dozens of strands. Blonde, brown, red, curly and straight, all recently fallen. Elise's knees trembled. A middle-aged woman in a white apron greeted her with an impassive expression. "Have a seat," she said calmly, motioning to the chair. Elise stood frozen. "Now," the woman added without smiling. Hands shaking, Elise walked slowly to the chair and sat down. The leather was cold. It creaked under her. The woman pulled a thick silver-gray PVC cape from a drawer. It was heavy, shiny, and had the musty smell of rubber and time. Elise felt it drape over her shoulders, suffocating. The woman tied it at the back with a white neck strip, securing it tightly. Then came the clippers. A low hum, then a louder buzz as they came to life. Elise flinched. Wait, Elise whispered. "Do I have to? Can I keep some of it? Just shorter." "No," the woman said flatly. "Instructions are clear. Full shave." The clippers moved near her forehead. Elise instinctively shrunk back, but the cape and the chair held her in place. The woman gently pressed her head forward. The first swipe came right down the center. A warm vibration, a sudden tug, the feeling of air brushing her scalp. Strands of her reddish-brown hair, still glowing faintly in the light, fell onto the cape and tumbled down into her lap. She gasped. It was gone. Just like that. The second pass followed, the sound of hair being eaten alive by the blades. More weight fell onto her shoulders. She watched helplessly as her copper-tinged highlights piled up at her feet. She began to cry. "No, please, I can't." But the woman continued, methodically shaving from top to crown, from crown to back. Each movement slow, precise, deliberate. Long strands peeled away from behind her ears. More tears fell down Elise's face, absorbed into the plastic cape like they were nothing. The buzzing echoed in her ears, and each pass stripped away not just her hair, but a part of herself, her identity, her confidence, her shield. By the time the sides were taken down and the back of her neck cleaned off, her face was slick with tears. The woman then wiped the clippers clean and took a fresh razor. "No, more?" Elise begged. The woman spread shaving foam across her scalp and began gliding the razor from front to back. It was slow, painfully slow. The scraping sound made Elise tremble. The foam gathered in the cape creases as the blade took her hair down to bare, soft skin. Her head now felt exposed, vulnerable. When it was done, the woman took a warm towel and wiped her scalp clean. Then she undid the neck strip. The PVC cape slid off with a plastic whisper, leaving behind a trail of foam and fallen strands. Elise stepped down slowly. Her legs were wobbly. She turned to the mirror. A bald girl stared back, her scalp smooth, her eyes red, her expression broken. She broke into sobs. She didn't wait for permission. Elise ran back to her dorm, clutching her arms as if to shield herself from being seen. She slammed the door, crawled under her blanket, and stayed there through the next class. And the next. Later that evening, she forced herself to the dining hall. Every girl, bald or buzzed, wore the same transparent plastic aprons, supposedly to prevent spills on their uniforms. But to Elise, it felt like another reminder of their sameness. Another loss. Tamara sat across from her, head freshly shaved too. She gave her a look of sympathy but said nothing. No one spoke much that night. Not about the hair. Not about anything. The atmosphere was tense, heavy with the weight of forced transformation. Elise picked at her food, eyes burning. This place wasn't discipline. It was control. It wasn't community. It was uniformity. She hated it. That night, Elise couldn't sleep. Her pillow felt strange beneath her bare scalp. Cold. Abrasive. Without her thick curtain of hair, everything felt exposed. Her skin prickled at every movement. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw the mirror again. The razor gliding across her head. The tears dripping onto the PVC cape. The soft thunk of hair landing on tile. She turned away from the window and curled up, arms tight around her knees, breath shaky. The faint moonlight highlighted the curve of her now smooth scalp in the mirror on the opposite wall. She yanked her blanket over her head. Across the room, Tamara whispered, "You okay?" Elise stayed silent. Tamara sighed. I cried too. That startled Elise. She peeked out from under the blanket. Tamara's silhouette sat upright on her bed, her bald head shiny in the moonlight. "I thought I'd be tough. I'm not," she said softly. "That machine buzzed and I just broke. They made it feel like it didn't matter what we wanted." Elise swallowed hard. "Why are they doing this?" "I don't know. Maybe control, maybe hygiene. But it's wrong." Elise finally sat up slowly. She touched her scalp with both hands. The skin was smoother than she imagined. Her fingertips trembled. "I didn't even say goodbye to it.